Okay.
There we go.
That's going to be akin to Charles's famous voiceless.
Oh, when you went mute.
Yeah, the famous voiceless muted blockchain rant that he went on.
Sorry for the delay, guys. We've been sitting here chatting just with ourselves for 5 minutes, then we went live. Terribly sorry about that.
My bad. I missed the big red button. Go live. Who knew you had to press that?
Well, fuck it. We're doing it live. So, big do-over. Welcome, guys. This is Cardano 720. We're going to do a second take on everything Cardano over the last month. Go through Cardano 360 once again. Talk about everything that they covered and anything else that we damn well please. Due diligence first. We're two drunk engineers just shooting the shit. If you think you should be getting financial advice from us, you're probably the person who needs to know the most that you shouldn't do that. Find a professional guy to give you financial advice if you think you need that. We're not here to give it. So, that out of the way, let's do a quick run through of the table of contents for Cardano 360 yesterday. First thing first, they spoke about boasting on some low smart contracts fees. There's a big bug bounty program that they've entered in with the HackerOne company, and they went through a couple partnership updates with SingularityNet and Occam, and finally, but not least, there was some teasing of the Jet algorithmic stablecoin that we're going to be looking more into on the next updates. So, I code all of the 360 except for the very beginning. So, Alex, please take it away. What was this talk about the lower smart contract fees?
Yeah, so do over time. Price of smart contracts was discussed, or realistically, it's the price of our computer processing time. And when I say our, I mean us, the Cardano stake pool operators. So IOG have been pricing up what they deem to be the correct figure for operating a transaction that operates a smart contract. And from how it was described on their channel in Cardano 360, they basically just said, we're just going to look at our competitors and we're just going to make it cheaper than them. It was really a case of just, how are they doing it, or how much are they charging? We'll do it for half, or something along those lines. I believe the exact quote was significantly cheaper. Okay. I don't know.
So I actually don't know how smart contract fees are calculated on ETH. Is it the same as their transaction gas fees, or is it set up as a separate thing?
Hands up, I do not know on Ethereum either, but right. I've seen some of the parameters for so they're in the Alonso config files on the testnet, and basically it looks to me like there's basically for each type of function that you can call from the Plutus library, there's an associated fee with it. So an if statement has a certain cost to it, a for loop has a certain amount of cost to it for each iteration, and so on and so forth, and these sort of stack up to build up the price. Please don't quote me on that, because I'm sure I'm wrong in some way, but that's what it looks like to me initially from a glance. So it's kind of interesting. it is very accessible to go and look at the fees. Apparently they're pretty much there at the moment. So we're moving into testnet officially today on the 1st of September. So those fees on the 1st of September, I guess, are going to be pretty representative of when the hard fork goes live on the 12th. So we should be able to see what those fees are, but how they actually translate to a smart contract, I'll never know.
Yeah. No, it's I'm super excited and curious to see what it's going to be like. I'm not too worried about it being a super low ball. Even if it does turn out that the fees are mismatched with the demand for the execution of the smart contracts. I mean, that's what you build a strong foundation for. It won't be difficult to pivot. It will only be a matter of politics or populism or whatever you want to call that on the blockchain governance.
Well, not today. Today we're run by IOG. This is not a democracy at the moment. This is totally a dictatorship. IOG, I reckon they can spin it in 5 days. We'll have new fees and the problem will be solved in the next epoch. So I'm not worried about that either. You're right.
I know. It is a dictatorship bootstrap, but so far I'm pretty happy with everything that's been rolled out. There are some things that I'm questioning in it, but they seem to always err on the side of caution and conservatism, and I can't really be mad at that when it comes to building the bedrock of financial infrastructure.
Well, I mean, realistically, when they said it's going to be significantly cheaper, my immediate reaction was, well, thank fuck for that. I mean, can you imagine if they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's after all this time, it's actually going to cost more than Ethereum. So yeah, sorry about we kind of, we said would be cheaper. No, it's not going to be cheaper. That would have been the biggest possible sodding disaster. I'd have noped right out. State pool done.
Oh.
I'm gone because that would have just been the worst.
That's true. I hadn't even considered that.
No, nor had I. But just the notion of like, oh, it's going to be cheaper. It's like, yeah, I should hope so. That was the whole selling point, or a big sodding selling point for Cardano.
I think the most exciting thing is Cardano's model of how it's set up. The fees are all predictable, which, as far as I understand, is definitely not the case with Ethereum and most of the existing proof of work established smart contract platforms. And so predictability might not sound like a super sexy thing, and it isn't to most people, but who it's extremely attractive to are gigantic enterprise solutions. Because if you are thinking about putting all or just a portion of a multi-million-dollar company on a blockchain network, you don't want your cost to be fluctuating wildly. You need to be able to plan around every single cost that goes into this.
Yeah, it's professionalism.
That's rule number. It's professionalism.
You got to make a profit. Can you imagine just like, oh yeah, last week we didn't make every transaction that was performed, every time that people used our business, we lost money. Yeah, fees were high. Sorry. It's like,
yeah.
Let me just go tell the investors we spunked £1 million last week. Hold on. I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
Yeah. It's rule number one for good economics in any context is that what economies really like is predictability. It doesn't really matter as much whether or not it's flourishing with great things or if it's in the slum with bad things, but as long as it's steady and predictable, you can make money. And it's pretty easy to wrap your head around. Just imagine if your rent was variable. So you don't know how much you need to pay in rent next month. What would that do to your spending? You spend a lot less on other things, which means that other businesses would get a lot less money because everybody needs to hold on to it to make sure that that they don't lose their home one day to the other.
That's right. I mean, at the end of the day, these businesses, they're already building in costs. They're familiar with that. But building in a variable cost is just not feasible. It's just silly, really. and it prices out smaller transactions really when costs are as high as they are on Ethereum. I actually don't. I've never tried to use Ethereum because even if I wanted to use it in a very, very small way, it would cost me so much to try and use it that I'm just not interested. I've heard horror stories, so that had me out.
Speaking of that, like a year ago, I bought a couple of the .crypto domains because I thought hey, I really like this concept, and you can both use it as the like easily human readable wallet address, or you can set up a website, on a decentralized network. Hey, that's really cool. So I went and I bought some that are, some that I kind of felt like I needed to, like leadterminal.crypto, and just some other ones that I thought were fun or attractive, or that I thought, I may be able to flip this down the line if this thing really catches on. And I haven't been able to really redeem them because every time I go to redeem them, to withdraw them from the Unstoppable domains to my wallet, the fees on Ethereum are so high that you need to bribe the gas man. And just out of pure principle, every single time you're like, no, fuck that. I'm just gonna wait. I'll just keep it there.
You didn't buy Ethereum at three quid or whatever it was when it first released. You're just like, actually, that's quite expensive. I actually have to pay like a good few quid for that. That's more expensive than a domain. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. I would pay more in transactional fees than I actually paid for the domains.
Yeah, that sucks.
Which is just, yeah. So I'm keeping it there until Ethereum shits the bed. Gas fees goes down tremendously, so I can get it off for cheap or for free, and then use the ERC20 converter to get it on Cardano, and then job done.
That's a good move.
Time is on our side, as old Ben would say.
That's true.
All right, we digress. Let's move on to the next thing. So the bug bounty program, they set up a HackerOne account. Yes, this is interesting to get into because you're a security expert.
This is a really cool thing. I always hesitate when anyone calls me an expert on anything. But yeah, no.
That's the mark of a true expert.
It's going to be a fascinating thing. So I've got quite, my mind was racing. As soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, well, for starters, hold on. I've released two things, which I put videos up on my YouTube channel, which is NA Crypto. I regret not just going with NASEC stake pool or something, but hey ho, that ship sailed. So if you check out NA Crypto, I've done a couple of videos. I've done one whereby I flooded a pool with just an HPing3 solution. I believe it was HPing3 solution. Just an endless series of TCP connections with duff data to a port, and I demonstrated that it is possible, realistically, to take any Cardano node offline. All you have to do is have a bigger pipe than they've got, which means more upload data than they've got download. And that's it. Nodes offline, guaranteed. So you can take out pretty much any pool, unless they've got private nodes. So that's one thing. And in their data, or in their policy around, what are we looking for? Scope. So in the HackerOne scope, they specifically exclude, their response here is effective non-network bandwidth flooding DDoS attacks. So that's perfect. That eliminates that first thing that I just wanted to demonstrate as someone who loves networks. I just wanted to show that, realistically, with peer-to-peer coming, this is a limitation in the Cardano network protocol. So that was one thing. My second one, which I reckon actually fits for a bug bounty already, is something I named the Vigorous Handshake protocol, whereby...
I like that. What's that?
So the Cardano node is broken down into a series of mini protocols, which is just essentially state machines as to how the Cardano node works. It goes from one state to the next and progresses through them until you have a fully synchronized node in good health, maintaining peers, maintaining state on the blockchain. So for my own understanding of the protocol, I worked to understand the Haskell code and then promptly struggled. I then managed to get in touch with Andrew Westberg, the operator of BCSH, Blue Cheese Steakhouse Stake Pools. He's a multi-state pool splitter, but I'm very drawn on Andrew for that reason. But he is the most technical guy I know in the ecosystem. He's amazing. And he rewrote some of these network protocols himself through reverse engineering the code. So long story short, the first protocol is the handshake protocol. And with that, you're essentially handshaking on, this is the version of the protocol that I want to run. And the response comes back, yes, I can run that version of the protocol. And then you're just like, yeah, cool. We're going to be peers then. We're going to be neighbors. I keep thinking neighbors like BGP. I don't know. We're going to be peers, essentially. So I was all, okay, well, there's not a lot really you can do with this handshake protocol. It's very linear. It's from one state to the next and back again, and that's it. You're pretty much done. Very simple protocol. But my immediate thought was, okay, well, what happens when I thread this? And what happens when I'm trying to handshake a node very vigorously, about 100,000 times per second? And turns out this smashes the CPU cores of any node. So I had our Intel Xeon server. It had a 3.4 gigahertz clock speed, dedicated 4 cores, and all 4 of them got flatlined. So I put a video of that up on my YouTube channel, and I reckon that would have fit because it wasn't a network bandwidth flooding DDoS attack. It says e.g. transaction hammering, but realistically it was protocol hammering. So, and they also state that attacks that result in harm to the quality of the blockchain or linked neighbor nodes. So I feel like that would have worked. I feel like that would have qualified already. However, they do later on say, anything that's already been disclosed, bad luck. So I'm out of luck on that one. But just to talk a bit more about the what's up for grabs. So the Cardano node and the Cardano wallet are both in scope for this hackathon or for this bug bounty. And a low reward for a Cardano node will get you £400. It then goes medium, high, critical with
It's dollars, isn't it?
dollars. Thank you. I'm British. Everything should be in pounds. Rah. Then we go up to 2,000 for medium, 5,000 for high, and 10,000 for critical. In the wallet, we've got 300, 1,000, 3,000, and 7,500 for low, medium, high, and critical, respectively. So
Okay. Wait, so let me do a translation of that. Do a back brief to make sure I understand this correctly.
go for it.
So what they're saying is if you disclose a critical issue that that means something that could legitimately fuck over the entire network,
Yeah.
we will reward you with the equivalent of 0.0001% of our treasury.
Yeah, it's worse than that. So, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. But it's even worse, in my opinion. I'm gonna bitch about the amounts because, hey, how am I gonna get rich finding $10,000 critical rewards? You know, Give me $100,000 and, you know, I stand a shot at sorting my life out really pretty quickly. But so the Cardano Foundation is the one sponsoring this bug bounty. And then what I did was I looked into, okay, how much ADA was the Cardano Foundation given when Cardano was launched? Okay, so how much is the Cardano Foundation making by just staking their ADA? And I worked it out. They're making well over $100 million a year just purely from the Cardano network and staking their ADA. So they put the security, the complete security of their $100 million income in the hopes that we'll all be good white hat hackers for 10 grand. I mean, that's a bit cheap, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be the full rainbow and 2 pots of gold, but it does seem it's disproportionate to what they'd be expecting and asking for. And also, like, doing the full disclosure or something like that, the work of looking into it and finding it and etc., it's not trivial. And so...
Yep, you're right.
Giving what amounts to you know, like about 2 months' salary, which would probably be around what an engineer like that would be making, at least in the Western metropolitan areas. It does seem cheeky.
Yeah. To be honest, there's problems with bug bounties all the way around, and you know what? They're actually quite generous, relatively speaking. They're not at the level of Google, but they are, relatively speaking, just looking through the rest of HackerOne's database, pretty generous, and so that's good. I think that's the wrong way of looking at it, because ultimately this is just insurance. So the question is, what is it worth to get information of this severity? I completely
critical
agree.
Critical severity is critical.
Yeah.
And the idea of offering, like, forget about the treasury size. Just look at like the stake pool rewards. That's still it's less than 0.01% of what they earn annually on their holdings, where if it was not reported, worst case scenario, it could bring that $100 million income to, if not zero, then a goddamn close to it.
Yep. And let's be clear, you can make a lot of money by shorting ADA we're at £2 today, give or take. Can you imagine if you just shorted 100,000 of it or whatever? You'd make a fortune more than just messing around with, oh, by the way, guys, here's how it's done. Here's how I could have made millions of dollars, but you know what? For 10 grand, I'll do the right thing. And to be honest, I think they rely on people like myself who, I don't have the balls to go and become a black hat hacker. I just don't. I know that other people, Andrew Westberg, to name a name, have found bugs in the Cardano node, and therefore I feel like this is almost like a thank you guys for doing this so far for nothing. Here in the future you'll get a little something for doing it.
Yeah,
kind of.
I mean, it is better than nothing, but ultimately I think that it's either just not very well thought through, because it's so disproportionate from what the value of a bug like that would actually be, or it's a show of uncertainty or lack of confidence, as in, oh, we got to be able to afford 100,000 critical bugs being reported.
Oh, fuck, I hope that's not the way they're thinking about it. Jesus. Hold on, I need to sell my pledge. Give me a moment. Let me sell it live on air. Fuck. No, that would be dreadful.
Yeah, really would be. I must admit, I'm leaning more towards it being a matter of buffoonery or greed rather than a lack of confidence.
I think the answer is they know that people are going to claim some rewards here. They know it's going to cost them some real money. They're going to be paying that money out in dollars, not ADA, which means they're going to have actual dollars to supply that. Maybe they don't want to sell a single ADA, which...
Well, it helps if you're earning approximately 33 million ADA a year in passive income.
Yeah, that helps. That's nice. But, maybe they want one of those 33 million.
It's a not-for-profit organization. Like, by their own definition, they really ought to figure out the best way of getting rid of their money.
Yeah, true. And sustaining the ecosystem feels like a good one.
Yeah, well, that's a vague mission statement if I ever heard one. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Go into the partnerships, right?
Yes.
Starting with SingularityNet. So they had a few different presentations from different people there. We got a look at the ERC20 converter, which we've heard about for quite a while. So it was cool to see that live, doing migration both from Ethereum to Cardano and also back to Ethereum as well. They did a full hokey pokey, shook it all around. And I actually wasn't even expecting it to be two-way this early on. I thought it was going to be not idempotent, it was going to be like a destructive. So it's pretty cool to see that it's already in a state where the funds on Ethereum gets locked in a smart contract that peaks over at Cardano and simply won't ever be able to release it again unless you burn it on Cardano.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. I have no idea why anybody would ever want to move away again, but it's the mark of a great interoperable platform that it doesn't design itself with the assumption that it is the end and be all.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons I love Cardano.
I couldn't agree more. It's amazing how we're already at that point. I thought it was going to come next year, realistically. I thought maybe early next year we'll actually have a working solution like that. But we're already there, and that's shocking. I really didn't expect it in the slightest. The bit around Singularity that interested me the most, realistically, it's the concept of DAOs in general, these decentralized organizations, and SingularityNet is one, will be one. The CEO was talking about how he's being removed in the future, basically by the DAO, and everything will organize itself. I myself am interested in starting a DAO for a project I'd like to do. I'd love to hear. I think I'm going to spend some more time looking into them, basically, because they're a fascinating organization. Do you know much about Singularity in general, like their organization?
No, I don't know a lot about them. They pop up a lot, and I hear a bit from Ben Hertz, and I have read a bit from Marcelo Marie, the CEO of the Singularity DAO branch affiliation. I still haven't wrapped my head around entirely what the Singularity DAO really does, or it is really as simple as I think it is.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that it's basically just an AI-driven quant trading on shitcoins, and so, or like as they put it, they use the AI to add liquidity to small cryptocurrency projects, and so it's that it somehow identifies what small projects are the little engine that could. And so it'll help add liquidity, which is just Wall Street for buy the living fuck off, as much as it thinks is worth the risk on that currency. And then it puts them in an index, which is tradable by us mere mortals. So it's like your proverbial S&P shit coin hundreds index that is controlled by an AI, which is fascinating. And like, if it works in the best way everybody assumes that it will, that's really great. Having worked with, it's a couple of years ago, but having worked a bit with AI myself, I'm very cautiously pessimistic. Not that I don't think that they can succeed in it, but in that I know how very little it takes for it to pull the rug under anybody that really relies on it.
Yeah.
Because either it's assisted learning, which means that it's not as much AI as someone's behind the scene pulling the strings and making sure that its behavior goes in the way that they want it to, in which case that's the person who's controlling your investment strategy. Or it is completely black boxed, like machine learning, in which case nobody knows why it does what it does. And so you don't know if it hasn't built up learning data on a certain scenario, which means that it could end up doing something completely retarded for no good reason because it's never been in that scenario before.
Kind of sounds like me.
Oh yeah, me too. As soon as I entered the trading floor, that's how I pull.
Nah, I think you put it best. It's fascinating. Like it's absolutely interesting, and like you said to start with, I hear from all these projects. They pop up out of the blue every now and then. You get a little bit of an update, and you're sat there left going, so what does that actually do? Like, what? Like, okay, that sounds cool, but what does that do? I really would like to know more. And because realistically, nothing's built yet, nothing's finished. It's all been waiting for this September 12th date that we finally got. We're finally going to start finding out what these projects do, how successful they are. It's going to be fascinating. I'm really, it's got me very excited. We're going to finally see something real coming out of Cardano's projects. And I guess that's what the haters have been complaining about, you know, there's nothing real there. Okay, yeah, sure, there was nothing real there. Come September 12th, everything real's going to be there. Then it's just a matter of all these projects that have been making announcements for the last God knows how long to just show, oh, look, we can go do this. Oh, cool. Go play with Singularity. Why not?
You know, nobody's on Facebook in 2007. You know, it's only really the people from Harvard. It's a ghost platform.
Yeah, damn right. Realistic, yeah, it's fascinating. So I'm interested in Singularity DAO. To be honest, DeFi itself doesn't thrill me, but just the concept of what I could do with it, maybe that's going to get me interested. So I'm looking forward to all of these projects, even if I'm sat here thinking, probably not going to use that. It's really cool.
I'm super excited about DeFi, but not for its current uses. I'm not really interested in swapping commies and ass coins and like all of those weird things. I'm super excited because you can tell it is inevitable. It's only a matter of how long it will take until I can take my next mortgage on the blockchain instead of having to go to a bank.
That's real. That's the difference. That's where it's really real, and then I'm interested. Then I want to know more. But who knows? So I guess that brings, talking of DeFi, that kind of slides us nicely into Occam, which they describe as a suite of DeFi stuff Do you?
Oh yeah.
Do you have
So
all
it's-
the names of their products? I've got a couple.
I got
listed
I,
down.
I got some notes on it. Yeah. So Occam's got their Occam Racer, which is the launchpad that they're using as an accelerator for up new projects. They got the OCC ecosystem token, which is Occam's Disney bucks. And they got Occam X, which is their DEX, so the decentralized exchange, where you can spend their OCC on buying stuff that they promote on their launchpad. And so I'm very split all over the place, and I keep changing my mind on this because on the one hand, I mean, it sounds nice and interesting. There's a lot of convenience. They're bundling a lot of things together that fits really nicely together. I mean, yeah, if I know I can go one place and then I'm going to find projects that have received some amount of vetting, although I don't have a high hope for that, but some amount of vetting, at least I know I can find everything in one place and I can buy it there and I can use a decentralized exchange. There's a lot of convenience in that, which is really, really nice and adds a lot of value. But there's a lot of decentralized exchanges that are already being developed or are developed already and are adding interoperability with Cardano. So it's not like I wouldn't be able to swap in a decentralized manner without Occam. I do not understand why I would want to buy their Disney bucks. Like they were talking about that, like you need the OCC token. Like you can only buy some or maybe all of the new projects that gets launched with their tokens. Which my immediate response is just fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Like,
Why can't I just use ADA? Why not?
Yeah,
why not
that
the
is-
native
that-
token?
That unless they come up with a good explanation of utility security or whatever, that is just a pure cash grab. That is literally Disney bucks. That is
Yeah.
the same marketing model. You're buying arcade tickets, because they want to make sure that you put as many of the money that they value the most, which is the ADA or the dollars or Bitcoin or whatever.
In their pocket as soon as possible.
I mean, I'll hear them out if they have any extra explanation to it, but my knee-jerk reaction was sod off.
Yeah.
And the Launchpad is, I'll have to wait and see it, but ultimately, like, what is it good for? Why do we need a Launchpad? What do you do that you couldn't just get a YouTuber to do? Like somebody who just makes videos where they cover all the stuff that gets launched. Because they're receiving, like they got C funded, they got like VC backing and everything, like a lot of money into
Jesus,
this.
really?
Yeah, so like I'll have to wait and see because you shouldn't knock a simple business case either. Some of the biggest ventures that are out there are not really doing something really groundbreaking. They're just doing something in a much smoother, more convenient way, like Uber. Or Lyft, like the rideshare options, Airbnb and stuff like that. It's not like you couldn't figure out how to barter with a stranger to drive you somewhere for an amount of money, but it is a lot easier when you can just click on the location, you say you want to pay, and then everything works itself out. And so maybe
I'm not sure I agree with your comparison
No?
there. I think it's more of like you see Occam more as, you remember that juicer where you just put in a pouch of juice and it squeezed the pouch of juice into a glass for you. And everyone was like, that's fucking dumb. That costs $600. And
No.
this was an actual VC backed, like, stupid fucking thing where they raised millions of dollars to build a machine that would squeeze juice into a glass for you out of a pouch. And you had to buy the pouches from this company. It was the most retarded thing ever. And I think you should call a spade a spade. And if you think something's shit, you should just say, hold on, is that shit? And you should talk to people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying that I'm reserving the benefit of the doubt in that it is possible to make a case that buying my Disney bucks actually gives you some utility or advantage other than me just getting your real money. And it's possible to make a case for having a launch platform and needing a lot of money to develop that. And it's possible to make a case for why you need to have a decentralized exchange. I have yet to hear any compelling cases from them. So my default outlook is always pretty cynical and skeptical. But I'm not casting any judgment until I hear more. But I'm also not giving them a single Lovelace of my money.
Right. This is exactly what we were saying. You know, at the end of the day, you've heard of these guys. You've sort of heard what they're doing, but the question is like, why are they doing that? Is that their product? Is that their product though? Am I missing something pretty key? Because chances are we are. Until you know, you can actually go and interact with it and say, oh yeah, it's just a machine that squeezes juice into a glass. That's bullshit. You can't comment. So I'm with you.
A lot of people.
I'll hold back on that.
Look at the markets. I mean, just over the last week, a lot of people have weak hands. So there are markets for juice squeezers like that.
Oh, damn right.
And you never really know what may not be a big inconvenience to you may actually be a big market for a lot of people. Like Coinbase is really, really big, not only because they're compliant in America, but also because they have really good UX for not very technical people to go through. Like I've helped a bunch of friends and family get set up on Binance and trade through there, and it's a nightmare for somebody who's not either experienced with trading or technology like to begin with. So yeah, you don't know. I mean, maybe Occam actually has a great valuable idea. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
To be honest, you've kind of sold me on their idea in one way. So initially I was like, hold on, why do we have Occam when we've already got Catalyst? Like Catalyst is funding from the treasury for startup projects, just like an accelerator would be funding for startup projects. But what I wasn't considering is the fact that our treasury is limited and, you know, it's getting distributed, etc. So, well, it's not limited, but it's somewhat limited in some sort of sense.
Sure, it's constrained.
Yes. Whereas this allows potentially all of the ADA to flow back into venture capital style investments as accelerators, and I do like that. I think that's a reasonable reason to have an accelerator, because the treasury can't fund everything in theory, and maybe Cardano investors would be venture capitalists. So yeah, I'm actually a bit more sold on Occam after this chat, believe it or not, than when I started.
Don't get too excited though, because what you're describing is your own interpretation of what it might be, not what they've actually said that they're making.
Damn right.
All right. So that was everything 360. They did a little bit of a rub and a tease on the Jet algorithmic stablecoin, which I'm so excited to hear more about that. That is one of the things that I think most people don't realize the significance of. The value of having a stable coin that is algorithmically, provably, stable, that does not require a company or a nation to be backing it. If they nail that, that could go nuclear. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I like.
What do you think about it?
I like the concept of a stable coin, because we need the ability to have stability in the ecosystem, and crypto is not going to be stable in the next 20 years. I don't think. I just don't see it. Unless it really does hit like astronomical prices, it's just not going to be stable, I don't think.
If you follow the regression since the inception of Bitcoin, just Bitcoin's instability, it is on track to be less volatile than the euro and the dollar within 11 years from now.
Really? That's insane.
People
I had no idea about that.
People mistakenly think that the fiat currencies we're dealing with today is stable because they're only ever preferring it to other fiat currencies. So when everything is unstable in the same resonance, it all looks kind of fine. But if you look at the US dollar to house market ratio or peg to goal or yearly salaries, etc., you can see like the instability of it over time.
That's fascinating.
So I think that was I heard that it was either by Ben Cohen in the Crypto Wars or some economist on YouTube that brought up the fact. I found it very, very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to try and dig that one out. That is fascinating. I actually did have one more note on 360, which is the Cardano Summit.
Oh yeah, what the hell?
Fuck me, man. I don't know. So we had plans, right? I was going to be seeing you in London, right? I am.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Well, hopefully.
We
still don't know where.
Where is it again? Yeah. Let's just any ideas? Like they put all these flashy names of amazing cities on the screen, and they were like, "It's happening everywhere." But where exactly? Like, is it a pub? Like, I don't mind. I'll go to the pub with everyone. That sounds awesome. But it'd be really cool if they actually let us know. I know a guy who's trying to book flights from Ireland to get to London for the weekend, and I can't wait to meet him. Awesome state pool operator of Bicep. Would love for him to actually be able to book his
Bicep
flights
to London?
Yeah, well, he's hoping to, but he doesn't know where to fly to or anything. You know, is it really London? We don't know. And loads of IOG staff are based in London, so we could have like the best meetup by far. I mean, well typed, the contractors who are hired to develop the Cardano node binaries, they're based out of London. So we could be talking to the guys building this stuff, and yet we don't have a date, which, considering this is a multi-billion-dollar organization, they got to get their shit together. I mean, really. No, seriously, that's not cool. That doesn't fly. If you want people to get together and you want to they need to act more mature as a company, I think. And the Cardano Foundation, maybe, I mean, they're the ones supposed to be driving adoption. They've got $3 billion plus, maybe $4 billion plus in ADA. Why the fuck can't they organize like 6 get-togethers in capital cities around the world? How difficult is that? You know what? Pay me $100,000, I'll do it. I'll just do it in an afternoon, probably. Like,
yeah. My wife and I actually sent emails as well to IOG a couple of weeks, if not a month ago, just to let them know, like, we're very interested in the London event. If you need help picking a place or putting up chairs, like, we have no idea, like, what the plan even is.
Yeah,
but
who
like,
knows?
we're here to help. But yeah, no response.
Yeah, it's not like the thing is, I get it. If they were short for money, if they're a small little startup, damn, you know, difficult. But they have essentially endless funds. And yeah, they don't want to spend endless funds on this. But we're about to... I mean, the next summit will be the first physical one in years. It will be the first one after smart contracts launch. Surely they should be hyping the shit out of this. But I can't even tell you where I'm going, when I'm going. I don't know if I'm going for the full weekend. I haven't booked anything at the moment. So potentially I'm going to be driving up from Portsmouth.
Oh, fuck, that's a good point as well. It is a 2-day event.
It's a 2-day event.
We probably do need to actually book some rooms there if we don't want to be...
Yeah, let me know where. Like, am I booking Mayfair? Am I booking Hackney? Just tell me.
I'll sneak into my day job's offices and just crash there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, so that's the last comment I had. Like, the Cardano Summit, I'm hyped for as fuck. I can't wait to meet some of the guys who are going to be there. I'm so excited to meet some of the people in my Discord, but
we just don't know where.
We don't know where, we don't know when. We've got some dates, like walk around London on the 25th and 26th of September, was it? And just sort of look for people shouting like, do you know what Cardano is? Fuck no.
All right, well, that's everything 360. So
yeah, that's all.
Let's jump into some of the the good stuff now, the softer side of it, because let's talk NFTs, because they're starting to heat up again on Cardano. And I know that there's nothing in this world that you detest more than NFTs.
It's like you were reading a Slack chat I was in earlier. So, Sapio Pool is run by... So, my partner is Nikos in running NASEC Stake Pool. He is a Greek man, if you can't tell from his name. Fantastic bloke. Love him to bits. But he assists this pool, Sapio Pool, very, very regularly. Just because they're a bunch of Greeks as well, funny enough. And they run a Greek Cardano community. So
what is the saying? Be wary of Greeks running a pool?
Yeah, no, something like that. No. They're amazing. They're really good people. They really care about the ecosystem. And they're spreading the message through Greece. They are actually the translator for... Shoot, I'm going to get this wrong. I want to say Ada Pools. And they translated the entire website into Greek so that they could use the language swap in, and Ada Pools is available in Greek thanks to them.
What was it requested, or was it like a little prank attack?
It was just a thing that they approached Ada Pools and they said, "You guys are interested in translators? How about a Greek version?" And Ada Pools worked with them. I think they've got one of those green banners that says valuable community member.
That's
so
nice.
Great little pool. I think they've got like 500 Greeks in their community now. They're huge. And I've totally forgotten the point. Yeah, NFTs. Fuck me. So Dimitris, one of the state pool operators for that pool, approached me. And he was like... no, he didn't just approach me. He was on Twitter earlier today talking about NFTs and talking about the summit. So they made a tweet earlier today that basically said, we'd love to have sort of NFT tickets for the summit, or something along those lines, where, you can add in our YouTube name and stuff as just like a memento-y type, we were at this summit, we were at that summit kind of thing. And he approached me and he was like, so Alex, is it possible to do this with like a QR code or something? And I was all, yeah, 4 lines of Python, done. There you go. I have no interest in implementing this in the fucking slightest. This is such a novelty. I just do not support NFT novelty artwork, etc. It just does not interest me. I don't want to be associated with it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. And he was like, but the marketing. And I was all, yeah, I'd be a better marketer if I did it. You're absolutely right. I'm shit. Sorry, I'm just not going to do it. So yes, you are 10,000% right. I am not pro NFTs in the way that they're currently being used. Long story short.
I'm not particularly heavily involved in it, but I don't mind it either. I dabbled around a little bit with it the other day. Bought some Cardano beans and some of the Cardano trees, but it was from like the mindset of, all right, how much money can I gamble with this month? And all right, let's throw that after some JPEG. It went really well though.
We're all going to die one day and no one's going to be saying, I wish I had 10 ADA more when I died and like didn't have that stupid bean in my wallet. 10 ADA more would have been great. We're all going to die one day. So I get it. People spend their money. That's life, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, it's no secret that we are very much in the middle of a .com bubble right now. We're looking at NFT versions of pets.com and all of these things that are very clearly not going to stand the test of time in any sense of the word. But no, it's if to any of you watching this, hi mom, if you're playing with any of this, be careful. Definitely don't get any more greedy than what you can afford to lose in any of this. On the long term, I think NFTs are going to be taking everything by storm. And I don't just mean the art world. I think that's actually going to be a microcosm of what they actually offer of value. But before that happens, we are going to have a bust, and the markets are going to be red as shit. And then it's going to slowly build up again, just like we saw in the dot-com bubble. Like Amazon fell down by what, like first 30, then 40, then 60%. Like the Amazon stock behaved pretty much just like crypto has done if you go back 20 years. But when you look today, then wouldn't
they
it
had
be
a longer
bad thing to hold?
they had a longer .com winter than we've had a crypto winter. That's for sure. Yeah, I think
That's
Amazon
a really good
took
point.
like 10 years to get back to its 2000-ish price. I think it took to like 2010 to catch up back to where it was. And now it's the biggest company in the world. But, you know, it took them 10 years to a winter, .com winter, as we'll call it.
I mean, the markets did get kicked in the crotch by the 2008 financial crisis. Not long after the 2000 bubble that happened, but no, it's a really good point. Still, like that is a long ass hibernation. If you were an Amazon maximalist, so to speak.
Damn right. And yeah, so I've shit on NFTs. So now let me tell you, I have a multi-million-dollar NFT idea, like a legitimate business case for an NFT. And it's not mine. It's my 73-year-old father's. And I was astounded by it. I mean, the guy's been in business all his life, but I was astounded by how great of an idea this is. So, in the UK and in most of the world, you have a ships register. And you also have a small ships register. Now, what these are is essentially you go and register nationally, internationally, your ship to say that I own the ship, and you give it a name and you get a unique number from the ships register. Now that's a centralized organization. So, that's something that maybe is a problem, who knows. But there is nothing for ships registered under 25 foot in length. There is no register at all. So what you could do, I mean, considering a 10-foot jet rib these days is going for £30,000, give or take, and you go up to 25 foot and you can start reaching £250,000 quite easily. If no one can tell, I'm going to the boat show next weekend in Southampton. But so none of these boats actually have any way of being registered. And what could be done is you could NFT all of these boats, and these boats could be sold with their NFTs because they are some of the most stolen things in the world. Like, they're stolen more often than cars because there's no fucking register of who owns them at all, anywhere. There's no license. There's nothing. There's just, I've got this boat. Do you want it? Give me 10 grand for this 30 grand boat. Do you own it? No one's to say. So there's your reason. The insurance companies will gag on your dick for that because you've just actually solved a problem that is completely unsolved and no one has any interest in solving. One of the reasons that there is a ships registry is because in the UK there are two assets that you can have a mortgage on. There are houses and ships. They're the only two things. And ships are mortgaged in 60/4ths. So actually, because these are not registered items, you cannot have a mortgage on a small ship below 25 foot. Well, now that you've registered them in a new solution, you've just enabled the financial markets to gag on your dick because you can now mortgage these sub 25 foot boats, which, considering they're getting up to £250,000, not everyone's putting that down in cash. So, okay, there's another reason that it's a great idea. Then you've got the manufacturers who you can sell this idea to. Just will put chips in all of your things. You boop them, they come up on the blockchain. You know, all this is built in, and then that allows them to sell more ships, because then people can get mortgages on these small boats, and that it makes sense every single way around. Commercially, it's brilliant. It's got its problems, but commercially, it is a genius move, and the best use case I've ever heard of for NFTs. And my 73-year-old father came up with it.
Yeah. That's a pretty solid idea.
Yep.
And
good luck whoever builds it. Please send me some money to send my dad. Or I'll give you his wallet.
Fund 6 of Catalyst just closed, so you'll have to wait until Fund 7. You can write it up, get someone to pay you to do it.
Do I believe it would actually work? That's the problem. I don't believe in NFTs very well. My concern is how do you physically link that NFT to that boat? You hide something, someone finds it, removes it, it's no longer that boat. Someone clones it, then you've got a clone of the NFT. There's problems. I see that there's problems. I don't see solutions. I'm not a visionary, I'm an engineer. And I've said multiple times, this is my problem in life.
Well, it's like anything in security. There's no impenetrable fortress. There's only garden fences of variable heights.
Yep.
And so,
but this would certainly be a garden fence. That's for sure.
Yeah, it would be really, really high, because as soon as it's established, all it would need to be is established so that any would-be buyer would say, if I'm going to buy that boat, I want to see the NFT.
I forgot about that. Yes, you're absolutely right. There's the other commercial reason. You sell the scanners that the boat sales people boop, and they say, oh yeah, this is a scanned boat. We can see that it's this on that. Can you prove that you own this wallet with this NFT in it? Yes, okay, we've just done some KYC. We know that you're not selling through us a stolen boat. So there's another reason why the commercial boat salespeople would also love you. Like, every way round, commercially, it's a genius move. It just has to be built correctly, and the linking between the NFT on the blockchain and the boat has to be done correctly. And my father has some ideas around that, if anyone wants to get in touch.
It is a pretty good idea. You could even argue that it's watertight.
That was so bad. I love it. Fuck me. We should end right there.
Yeah. I tried to get you to do a spit take, but I failed.
That was peak. We're done, guys. I'm sorry. That's it.
Well, we've been through everything 360 once more. 720 tries around the world, baby, only for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed tuning in or watching us on the rerun, if that's your thing. And we'll be back next month, 1 or 2 days right after Cardano 360, which at that point we're gonna have smart contracts live on mainnet. I am so excited to see what we're gonna be covering at that time.
Hopefully how rich I am from the insanely high fees and the amount of transactions on the blockchain. I cannot wait.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's tune out. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
See you again in a month.
That's a wrap. And we've ended.